put it this way. When the identity with body-mind is severed, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you. Now, we all know the answer to Rebecca's question in one sense. Does the personality go away? Well, it does eventually. Right? We all surely know that. That's called death. The body death. So we will go. Obviously, I think Rebecca was saying before death, before physical death, does it go away? And if we think about what conditioning is, see, we can have different ideas of it. But for example, my accent, I've got a British accent. Rebecca, I'm presuming you've got an Australian accent. That's conditioning. That is conditioning. Conditioning means that it's a result of cause and effect of the specific way or the environment you've been brought up in. It's cause and effect. I mean, strictly speaking, our physical bodies are conditioning. They're a result of cause and effect. You know, our genetics are a form of conditioning. We've got psychological conditioning. And again, you're referring more to the psychological conditioning, I think, in your question, rather than the physical conditioning. Our accent is it's a physical thing because it's the way our vocal cords are taught to move. But it's due to our environment. You know, if I was brought up in Australia, or if I was brought up in the US, or if I was brought up in a different part of the world, I would have a different accent. We'd expect that. That's my conditioning. And we don't necessarily need that to disappear. You don't need my British accent to change. And Rebecca, I'm sure you're not really looking for your Australian accent to particularly change. That's not your question. Your question is about the psychology aspect of it. That becomes more important because you think you're the body mind. So we focus on that. The conditioning does go, but you're going to be a human being as long as you're a human being, which means as long as the body is alive, you're a body. And so you will have reactions, you will act and you will react. And that's normal and natural. And it's not something we should try and get rid of necessarily. Will the neurosis go? Will the fear go? Yes. It can totally go. Totally go. Does that mean that you'll never get pissed off? You'll never get frustrated? You'll never get angry? You'll never get upset? Not necessarily, because they are natural functions of the body. That's a part of the healthy functioning of the body to have all these emotional responses, just like it is to eat, to drink, and to go to the toilet, to digest your food. Just as that is a natural function of the body, we wouldn't want that to necessarily go. In the same way, our emotions are a natural function, part of our functioning. The difference is the neurotic aspect goes. Now, the ego, mind, might have a preconception that when the ego is gone, that there will be no emotion, no negative emotions at all. But that's not true. Negative, positive emotions are a part of our functioning. If someone comes up behind you and screams really loud in your ear when you weren't expecting it, you're going to jump. You're probably going to have an emotional reaction, an emotional response. That's normal. That's healthy. That's a protective mechanism built into the human body. It's not a problem. When the attachment to the body-mind goes, then the neurosis goes. The fear of death, the fear of life goes. But there can still be a remnant. In the scriptures, they say it's a bit like a burnt rope. Apparently, when you burn a rope, if you burn a rope on the ground, it will still look like a rope on the ground, but the ashes it will just be ashes. So if you touch it, it just disintegrates. There's no real rope there anymore. But it appears to be a rope. That's what this is like. It appears to be a person that's still there, but there's no one there. The truth is, there's no one there now. The difference is there's a belief that there's someone there. There's the belief, I'm the body-mind, but you're never the body-mind. There's only the self. So it's an understandable question. It's a natural question to ask. But as you come more and more into your presence, you will care less about that. And what can happen? You might find yourself getting a bit irritated, a bit aggravated more. If you're a suppressing type, if you've suppressed your emotions, they will start to come out. You see? So say you've suppressed your anger. As you start going through this spiritual process, what will happen? The anger that you suppress will start to come out. You might be a bit more snappy. You might start becoming a bit more irritable. But the opposite is true. If you're instead of a suppressor, if you're somebody who acts out their emotions, who's always acting out their emotions, as soon as a thought comes in, you're saying it out, you're acting out your thoughts and everything, you will find that they become less. There's a whole process that can happen to the body, on the level of the body and the mind. You'll care less and less about it, but you'll notice it when you need to notice it.